Have you ever looked at a bitter political debate, corporate lawsuit, or global conflict and wondered how the opposing side could possibly think they're right? We usually assume our opponents are either ignoring the facts or simply lack basic logic. We tell ourselves that if they just looked at the exact same data we have, they would agree with us. But human conflict is rarely a matter of broken logic. It happens because opposing groups operate under different dominant needs. Their reality is shaped entirely by what they require most in that specific moment. To understand why these factions clash so violently, we have to stop looking at the arguments they make and instead start decoding the hidden psychological motivations driving them. Imagine an island where each faction has one desire. At the bottom, they focus on hunger. Above them, safety. Further up, belonging, prestige, and intellectual mastery. Arguments seem reasonable inside one tier, but completely absurd from another. This thought experiment mirrors the real-world framework proposed by psychologist Abraham Maslow. His famous hierarchy of human motivation maps exactly how our priorities shift as our foundational physical needs are met. When two groups exist on different steps of this ladder, communication stalls out. You cannot successfully explain the value of social prestige to someone whose dominant daily need is avoiding starvation. As populations grow and time passes, these individual needs combine into complex social systems. Scattered groups concerned with food slowly merge into organized agricultural guilds, while those seeking security form sprawling defense orders. This structure isn't an arbitrary choice. In a flat network, the number of potential connections grows exponentially with every new person. Eventually, the noise becomes too great to manage, and the system organizes into layers to filter information and keep coordination possible. Inside these vertical structures, constant friction develops. Power flows upward, complaints flow downward, and the ambition for a promotion constantly clashes with a leader's fear of replacement. Yet the moment outside danger appears, internal chaos vanishes. Rivals fighting over status instantly suspend their quarrels and lock shields against a foreign threat. Conflict inside, unity outside. This rhythmic cycle becomes the heartbeat that pushes early organizations to expand, conquer, and scale up. As these societies scale, an invisible law takes hold. When an individual satisfies a baseline need, their desires do not vanish. They simply shift their focus upward to the next unfulfilled tier. Look at how the particles detach and float upward. People who finally secure food and shelter don't stop progressing. They immediately migrate into new social factions to seek out belonging, then status, and eventually intellectual mastery. This continuous upward pressure forces smaller local factions to merge. Commercial orders, security forces, and academic institutions combine to form massive, deeply integrated alliances. Success provides these alliances with the resources to control the information, education, and cultural rewards of the entire island. By setting the standards for what counts as success or safety, these institutions begin to define the needs of the populace, effectively programming the motivations of future generations. This feedback loop creates superpowers, institutions so vast they no longer respond to the needs of the people, but instead mold the people to fit the needs of the institution. It is easy to look at a map of modern civilization and see a world divided by distinct, incompatible species of belief. But these layers of motivation are not isolated kingdoms. They form one continuous, flowing spectrum of human drive. The urge to build a fortress, the craving for community, and the pursuit of wisdom do not belong to separate types of people. Every single individual carries the capacity for all of them simultaneously. A moment of wonder. Human civilization, from its vast economies to its global conflicts, functions as a macro-scale projection of our internal drives. We see our own mental architecture playing out in the history of every empire and institution. To understand the world, you must first understand yourself.